And welcome back to Hannity. So college graduations, they're well underway. And over the weekend, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas delivered a commencement address to the graduates of Hillsdale College, and he spoke about political correctness.
I admit to being unapologetically Catholic, unapologetically patriotic, and unapologetically a constitutionalist. Today, of course, there is much more focus on our rights as citizens and what we are owed. It is not often that one hears of our obligations or our duties as citizens, unless, of course, there's talk of our duty to submit to yet another new policy being suggested or proposed. Do not hide your faith and your beliefs under a bushel basket, especially in this world that seems to have gone mad with political correctness.
All right, here with reaction, former 2016 presidential candidate Dr. Ben Carson. He's also heading up Donald Trump's, well, I guess, effort to vet some of the VP candidates. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well, Sean.
I'd say three things. The one thing that you, Clarence Thomas, and Donald Trump all have in common is you just are iconoclastic. None of the three of you are politically correct, right?
Well, as you remember, during the 2013 prayer breakfast, I talked about political correctness and how it was destroying our society. And you think about all the people who gave so much to provide freedom of speech and freedom of expression for us, and here we are in the process of throwing it away. They would turn over in their graves.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Tell us where we are in terms of the VP. You said that there were about 5 names you knew of on Donald Trump's VP list. Number one, are you on that list?
Well, first of all, I should clarify that. The reporter was saying there's this survey, and it talks about the people that people think should be vice president. And he threw out a bunch of names, and I said, yeah, all of them, it doesn't matter. Because I said, I'm not going to go through and say this one's on and this one's off. So that's the context. And then a lot of people took that to mean, well, these are the people who are on the list, which is completely
Oh, the media
untrue.
got it wrong again. What a shocker. I can't believe it. Sort of like the New York Times piece against Donald Trump. Is it the obvious names that we would know? And do you know if you're on the list? Can you answer that?
I don't want to be on the list. Let me put it that way.
You don't want to be?
I'm not interested in a government position. I think there's still a place for citizen statesmen. You know, there are a lot of things that need to be talked about in our society and written about in an unfiltered way.
I think a natural position for you, and I think you articulated this as well as anybody on the campaign trail, was repealing and replacing Obamacare and replacing with health care savings accounts. If Donald Trump were to ask you to head the Health and Human Services to get that done, would you say no?
I would be very happy to help with that process. I've already outlined and had it analyzed, the program on how to do this. We can do this. We have the money and we have the ability, so it can definitely be done.
Yeah, all right, so I'll take that as a maybe. Fair enough. Let's talk about how the media and the hit piece. We started the program out talking about, okay, the New York Times, which has a lot of lawsuits against them over issues involving race and gender and age, how they're now trying to smear Trump, and some of the people interviewed for their piece say their words were taken out of context purposefully. How do you interpret that? And is this the way you see the campaign going? Is that the Washington Post appoints 20 people to investigate every aspect of Trump's life? Well, what are they going to do on Hillary Clinton's life?
Well, I'm certainly familiar with the media taking things out of context and turning them around to fit their agenda. I'm very familiar with that. And clearly, the problem here is that the press, which is the only business protected by our Constitution, has shirked its duty to be honest and to be the provider of true information for the populace so that they can make intelligent decisions. Because they've done that, they've distorted distorted or had a big part to do in distorting the process. It means now that the people must go out and search these things for themselves, and unfortunately, a lot of people aren't willing to do that. You see that when Jesse Waters goes out and does the man-on-the-street interviews. People have no clue what's going on.
Listen, I've been doing those for years on radio. Nobody knows who the vice president is, which is sad, but it's entertaining. And the other side is because you can't believe the answers that people come up with. All right, Dr. Carson, always good to see you. Thank you.
You too. Thanks, Sean.